chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world and keep the sky on your mind. Get on board. We're soaring on top of
Alright folks, good morning. We got some technical delays going on here and I don't know what's... there it goes. Just being a pain in the butt, the laptop. Alright, we are up and going again for another day, folks. We're not going to do another. I have to first, at the beginning, if you watch the Twitch full 5 hour something run where we did both legs, I really felt out of my A game on that St. Louis to Paris run, the second flight, and that is why that flight has not been posted to YouTube. I just couldn't post something that's at least up to normal par for us, and that felt so badly off. I just felt like I was out of my game. So YouTube folks especially, we're going to do this flight and post to YouTube, but that flight we will do in another time. So my apologies. Now, we did post the Vegas to Burbank. I highly recommend watching that, folks. That was a phenomenal trip. Folks, if you haven't done that, I really recommend a Vegas to Burbank. Folks, that is just, it's quick. You're on your toes. It's just, well, you saw it. Just, there isn't much time to lollygag on it. So I just wanted to get that out to begin with. Today's flight, however, today we are still flying with Millennium Aviation, otherwise known as Mac Air. I had a different title planned for this, but then I thought it might get confusing. So I changed it by dropping the Mac Air part and just left it African Tour A320 leg 12 of 20, which is what I am doing, one of their tours, the African Tour, part 1. So we're over the halfway point. We're rolling downhill into the final point, which I think, I'd have to look at it, but I think it's Johannesburg. So we're getting there, folks. We're kind of zigzagging now through the lower half of the continent, back and forth. So if you're prone to seasickness, that could be a problem. All right, so we are flying Tunisia or Tunis Air. I don't know. I'm thinking that's out of Tunisia, which is way north of here, but it's the closest I think I could find for the African territories. Qatar just doesn't have one of these yet, A320 Neos. So we're going to go take it up for a spin, and we're going to be going from Kigali International, Rwanda, over to Maya Maya or Maya Maya Airport. It's actually International Airport, but we'll leave it. Republic of Congo here in Africa. So ought to be a fun flight. So again, the African tour A320 Part 1 continues on. Now, I don't know if we'll do Part 2 and 3. We'll kind of see how it goes. We'll say, if you haven't been watching real closely to the screen, the skies are a little frightful here, folks. Kind of Halloweenish. Ooh. So why don't we get into the air? See what kind of goblins and ghouls may be along the way. All right, folks, we're up in the office now. And we are powered up. We have gone through a lot of the checklist. We're in the alignment process right now. We have a few more things to go, and then we'll get the McDo going. And basically what's left up here, strobe lights, autos. We're going to put the nav lights to 2 today. And seatbelts, we're going to keep those off for a little bit longer, and then the seatbelt signs on because of this fueling that just happened. Hang on a second. My moderator just chimed me on Messenger. Oh, nice. A330 300s in the world of Prime Air, compliments of Hawaiian Airlines. Could be something brewing there for us. All right, so we've got nav lights. Let's see, seatbelts, emergency lights are armed. We got our dome light in the off position now. Just checking where I'm at. Landing elevation. Make sure the switch is 12 o'clock high, so you know it's in auto. Pack flows are as required. Hang on, I'm going to kind of move it a little bit more visible. See how it's 12 o'clock. Pack flow valves normal. Cross feeds auto. Fuel pumps coming on. And we have come off external power for the APU. Okay, we've done our fire checks. We've also got radios 1 and 2 down here the way I want them. 3 is set. And folks, shows we're in a break, so we'll continue on with the pre-flight and getting this bird ready to go. All right, and for you, the subscribers, thank you so much. We appreciate the hard-earned money you make. You're spending a little bit of it with us so that we can look into new and exciting things to add. A couple of them that I've thought about adding. Now I'm a little hesitant after reading the X-Plane announcement a couple days ago. But we're still looking into some things. That 737 Classic's a possibility. And I'll be totally honest, the A300's a possibility too. All right, and our fellow friends, the followers, oh, thank you so much for being a part of Flying with Mike. We do appreciate you. And for that, we're going to continue with the pre-flight. We held up waiting for you. And it's not going to be a real long one. If you want, when we do the St. Louis Paris flight, folks, we are going to do it just like we did in Twitch. Meaning, I'm just going to fire the stream up. We're going to put the flight together online and take it all the way to Paris from there. So that ought to be an interesting, more instructional / tutorial coming in this type of plane, A320 Neo. Today, we're going from, again, Kigali, Rwanda to what is the name of this city? I don't even know if I'll be able to pronounce it. Hang on. Brazzaville, Congo. So that's where we're actually going into, and it's Maya Maya Airport. All right. Not Mother May I. Anyway, sorry, bad joke. I know. Weather here, like we said, may be a little frightful. I don't know if the METAR is going to reflect it, but 130 at 5, unlimited visibility. We got a few clouds at 2,500, scattered up to 30,000, and 18 degrees outside. Waiting for us over in the Congo. 210 at 5, unlimited again, a few clouds, 23, got some CBs reported at 3,000, so there could be some thunderstorms awaiting us. And it's 31 degrees there. Ooh, I have to get my muckluck out for that one. 1010 for the barometer. Finally, what's delaying the passengers? Well, they're filling out their non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, so they don't bark up a tree saying, they just don't know how to fly at Flying with Mike, so I'm going to sue them. Oh, good. Now you signed your NDA, you can. So, and every pilot in the world's called, wish we could do that. All right, 144 is how many people are going to be in a plane of 185. So we're not full, but yet we're not empty. About halfway-ish. 31,000 pound payload. We're going to uplift about 18,200 pounds of fuel. Dispatch gave us 35 on the cost index, and initial climb to 24,000, but real quickly we'll be cleared up to 38. BKV is real close, so up to our cruise at 38,000. All right, folks, so let's get this firecracker lit and on its way to the Congo. All right, we still got Sim Brief up. Why? Or Sim Toolkit. Why? Well, we're going to unload the flight yesterday. Now, let's bring in today's flight. Here we go. Going from Rwanda to the Congo. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Da-da-da. Oh, sorry, folks. Wrong kind of Congo. And that's Conga. Sorry. Anyway, so here's our flight, just so you can get a better look at it. Down here, we got our airport. We are planning a 1-0, if memory served right. Here, let me help everyone involved out here. Yeah, 1-0. So it's a little bit of a back taxi for takeoff. It's an 11,483 foot runway. Plenty of room for us. And we'll be putting in our, he says cautiously as he clicks on it twice. There we go. We're going to be flying out the KAROS 1 Delta, which is basically out to emit it to Cadbo to KAROS. Real easy. We stay at 210 maximum to Cadbo to make our tightest turns possible, and then we let her rip. After KAROS, it's, well, we can find, I think it tells us mileage, about 28 miles to BKV. So basically, cross the river, or cross the lake. All right, let's get rid of Sim Toolkit and get this thing started here, all right? Finally, let me make sure we got everything done. Yep, we're ready for the big do. Hang on, it's wanting to be stubborn. There it goes. All right, GPS is ready for us, so we're not going to be able to put our spot in here more than likely. Okay, let it do its thing here after we hit init request. One more step, there it is. TAR, Tunisia Air, 572. They're giving us cost index 46, 24,000, negative 23 here. And when we click that, we're already aligned, so I can't do anything about it. Get our winds. And return. Get that cleared. Hang on a second, folks. Just because I know it needs to be cleared and set. That's perfect. All right, now, next up is our flight plan. And I am going to bring it up in a different format in charts. All right. The reason I'm going this route, you can see more of the panel is available to see. I'm going to move this over so you all can watch as we prepare the McDo for the flight. All right. Okay, so first come up here to HRYR, click departures. We know 10, right? Now I'm going to get our flight imported. Oh, wrong one. Some brief. There we go. And we'll get it centered. Okay. So we are going on the KAROS 1 Delta. This one. Oh, I hate when I do that, folks. And insert. Okay. Now, bear with me a second. I'm going to come up here, put it on plan. That way, we can step through here and watch it here as well. So we're only looking for a couple. There's MTIT, GADBO, and KAROS. Okay, those are our first 3 fixes. Reason it's not showing here is just out of range, that's all. But if you click the up arrow, things start coming into play. There's KAROS, BKV. And now we're just going to kind of travel along this line up here and down here because mostly all of our fixes are in. So there's BKV, ZRUD, okay, BKV, ZRUD, Amamu, Kin, Abkix, getting caught up down below, Vapor, Losme, Bikme, Bikip, Bisbee, Ilbook, Inkak, sorry, Orion, and we end up at ULVAS. That is the end of the line route-wise. So now, let's once again revisit what the weather is there. Okay, it's 210 CBs. All right, so winds are 210 at 5 knots. Okay, not too much to worry about. And we were planning 2-3. Okay. All right, so click arrival. And now over here, what we're going to do is look up an arrival for us. Well, looky here, we don't get an ILS. Well, darn the luck. How in the world are we going to make this happen? Folks, if we can't fly an ILS, how can we fly? Oh my. Why don't we just do an RNAV? Right there, Raska. Come up to Rasak, shoot the RNAV. That's what I think I'm going to do. So from here, we'll go up. Actually, what I think I'll probably do is that ULVAS Irkutsk, just go direct and join it. Now, I do want to look at one thing, though, before. Did it specify an arrival? And I know y'all are going, I can't read it sideways. Alright, so runway 23 are these. Runway 5 are these two on this chart. But it doesn't specify types of arrivals. Alright, so we're going to go back to the way we were. We're coming in ULVAS, Irkutsk, Apton. We're going to come in, and what it was wanting you to do is do this to come back in. But if I go from here to the initial and in, we save some of that. So that's what we're going to do. Just looking for RNAV. Wait a minute, did not see it. There it is. And let's do... Which one are we doing? Air coasts. A. That one. And our transition is going to be RASUK. Alright, so how do we read this? Okay, this is like I said yesterday for those that were on the Twitch stream, what I like about Airbus. We read it. We're coming in on the ERCO 1A arrival, our transition if we had one. In this case is Arocus. I'm sorry, ULVA, right? ULVAS. But anyway, we're ending up at Arocus. All right. For the RNAV 23, RASCUS is the way we're going to get to it via the RASCA RNAV 23. So that shows how we're going to do it. It just pictures out better than how sometimes the Boeing kind of looks a little rough. This can get a little rough too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, places like Paris don't make it easy. So, anyway, so we'll click insert, and guess what? We can now continue our track from ULVAS. ERCOS, Apton. That's what we're looking at, right? And basically, the whole time you're doing this, folks, you're looking for discontinuities, like this one. And I am going to leave it in play for now, but we're going to adjust our flight en route, because what I'm planning to do is delete Apton and this so that we go direct from here straight on to our arrival. But in case ATC comes up to go, you can't do that, then we're going to keep it. All right, now continuing on. Okay, there's our decel, UGUS, and then BB503, and then the arrival. Okay, and you all didn't see that because I wasn't on the page. RASCUS, we have to be at 4,000, so let's go back. RASC UK is not at 4,000. Get that? Oh, yes, it is. Yes, indeed. Is it at or above? Huh. I think I'll leave it for now, but I'm tempted to put 4,000 there. Okay. Oh, man, we're all the way at the beginning again. Hang. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. There we go. Then GUTGAS, BB503, and right on in. Okay, the blue here, that is if we have to do the missed approach. We'll head out to Bilviv and hold, as you can see, right here as well. And continuing on, if we divert because of weather here, we're going to divert to FNLU. And off the top of my head, I do not know what that is spelling. 4th of February. That is for real? That's what it says on the charts here, folks. That's weird. Hang on. We're going to do a couple of other checks real quick. 4th of February. Who would have thought they would name it that way? All right. Hang on. Rwanda. 4DB. Huh. Wonder if DV is February. Interesting, but it's Luanda. So that's our alternate today. Yeah, 4th of February. Wow, interesting. And by the way, if you want to make fun of this, folks, it says it right here. 4th of February. There it is, Luanda, Angola. Interesting. Boy, we could have fun with that all day. We're not. I want to get some flying in. But there's our route, and we could fill in the, again, said star, if any are applicable, all the way down. All right, and we're going to go back to, whoop, what are we on? Make sure we're in the right one. Arc, put that there. And we're going to just press on, folks, because like I said, I could stay on that for a little bit of time, and we don't really have time. All right, so let's press on. RadNav page. Looks good. Go to the init one more time. This time we're going to use the right arrow. Double check our numbers. Okay, there's our 144. There's our fuel. Zero fuels 129.4, 129.4, 29.4. We're going to change that. So put a slash in 29.4. And fuel on board 18.3, 18.3. And this looks good time-wise. All right, which then leads us to the infamous perf page. Thankfully, Toliss has given us a good calculator here, folks. I don't like seeing that, but then I see that, I'm okay with it. And it's 170 at 4, so things have just not updated. Did I say 174 or 170? 70. 4. Temperature here in Rwanda, 18. Altimeter. All right, now you can cheat here, folks. 30 or 1019. I'm going to go ahead and try it again. And we're going to see if that's right. The way to cheat, folks, very simple. We say, put that away, 1019, right? Yes. So set 1019 up here. 3009. Okay, now we'll go back. See? It didn't do it right. There we go. And that's how you can check it, folks. All right, let me quickly look outside the front. I'm going to go with the dry runway. Any ice, TAFs. We'll stay off, but they may actually come on airborne. All right, we've got a 4-knot crosswind, so that's really negligible. 29.6. I don't think that's what we saw over here. Oh yeah, we did siege. Okay, cool. And we'll go now on flex. Let's see what happens if we flex it. Ooh. That looks cool. All right, now let's try Toga. Obviously, we're going to get up quicker with more power to the engines. Okay. I'm going to flex it. I want to see if it's going to eat roughly 2/3 of this runway up. I'm curious. All right, so here we go. Flaps 1, flex 67, anywhere from 131 to 149 for V1, accounting in case it is wet. 149, 151. Okay, we're going to be up 0.3 on the horizontal stabilizer, and green dot, which is flaps up 217. So we're looking good here, folks. Now, let's translate that to our lovely McDo. Firstly, I'm going to click the uplink. Then enter the wind. 170 diagonal 4. Oh, 3009 went in. Cool. We are on a dry runway. I know you could go damp, but I don't have a damp to pick, folks. And we'll request our takeoff information. Received. And there's our winds. Everything looks good. Now, we said flex. So here's where you click flex. 60, say over here, 67. We're going 62. Okay. A little bit more power. We'll take it. V1 is going to be 140. Well, here, we'll show it to you. Okay, V1, 147. Rotating at 149. Could climb out over a 50-foot obstacle at 151. All looks good, folks. Our transition level. I'm just going to pull it up here. We are in Congo Airport. Transition 9,000. So that is correct. And everything else. Okay, so we got a little different play here, folks. See the difference? Give you a chance to look. Not long. Okay. If you didn't catch it, look right here. THS up 0.3. Over here, not only did our flex temp, which was 67 on our plan, change to 62, our trim is now up 0.4. I'm going to go with this. Now, you can actually change these numbers if you know how to. I do not know how to. However, Blackbox 711, he's a Twitch streamer, real world bus driver, Airbus driver that is. Has a great site out there. Pretty sure this airport's not in his database for it, but it will actually give you those numbers if you're at one of those airports. And we will, on that YouTube video earlier mentioned for St. Louis up to Paris, we will double check. We'll go through it all. It's going to plan on it being like a tutorial flight. So it's like a 200-mile flight. So, all right. So there you go, folks. That's a wrap on getting the McDo all pre-flighted up and ready to go. Those of you who want the secondary flight plan, this would be a good time to put that in, get all of that set up and all. I personally, I know how basically to do it, but I'm not going to spend the time there. I know I kind of gripe at the Zebo and PMDG guys that don't go to page 2. I don't go into that. All right, so folks, that puts us to pushback time. I am going to get one thing rolling right now so I do not forget, and that is my ACARS system. I would like to get credit on this leg, so I can then do the leg 13 of 20. Either on stream or off. I've done a couple off stream. We've been a while since we've done these, so I thought we'd get down here to the dark continent of Africa. And what a fitting time, Halloween. All right, there we go. Flats. That one. Fly. Oh, it's slow. Gonna be VATSIM. Let me do this. That came up close. And we're gonna top out at 38,000. And oh, let's put our route in here. Why don't we? Oh, where are you, route? There you are. There. Start. Bear with me 1 second. I always love to make sure we've come online with them. And I know it's going to take just a few seconds. All right, we'll come back to that before pushback. All right, speaking of which, let's start closing up the plane, shall we? Oop, how about we put that away first? All right. So first thing I'm going to close up, well, let's get the external power off. And oh, all right, we are on Mac Air. That is always a good thing. I can push this up. All right. So let's see what we got here. What I did is we have the mechanic and the attendants. These are usable by us, folks. I know some airplanes put it in the McDo itself or the FMS. What they did here is they used some of the switches or microphones, which was pretty ingenious, I think. Okay, there's our fuel. We don't need to touch. However, we need to go auto and auto to start closing up our cargo doors. Look at the lightning popping behind us. All right. And with the last of our passengers aboard, let's go to the attendant. Next page. Next page. Oh, I was on the right one. Oh boy. And then let's get back outside real quick. I think they've gone a really, I know a lot of people think it cheesy. I'm one of them. But the level of detail, minus the fact there are no drivers, really impresses me with how far they took it here at Toliss. Just amazing. If you didn't notice, the hydraulic levelers came down to steady the stairs. Same when we load food, the catering trucks, you'll see those come down. It's those little things, folks, I look for. And that was actually really good animation here. All right. Well, folks, with all of us buttoned up here, and we'll double check here, we're looking good. All right, altimeter 30. Oh, let's go to the right one. And let's get our 1019. Okay. LS constraints. LS constraints. VOR arc, and I got this one at 40. I'm gonna bring it down to 20. This one at 40. And 20,000 is our initial. Was it 24? Hang on. 24. Okay. Finish up here. Anti-skids on, everything else down, 3 green, and a switching panel to the north. Everything 12 o'clock means the right position. I'm going to go to F-plan on there. And a transponder. Let's get it set up in the transponding, and at the same time I'm going to come on VATSIM. Actually, I will be right back, folks. 1 second. All right, folks, sorry for that. Matt 1997, welcome aboard. It is going well, except for what I ate for breakfast. Just not wanting to sit well in the belly. All right, but anyway, let's take a look here. I can't even remember if I filed this. Let's go. Oh, excuse me, folks. All right, we are now filed. All right, I see we just got into a commercial break, so that's perfect timing. All right. But yeah, we are doing great there, Matt, 1997. We're ready to fire up here. We're ready for pushback. Speaking of which, while we're in the break, let's get that up here.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tower's driving up.
All right, not really realistic, but since there's no other traffic here, I think we're okay. Let's make sure. A couple just took off from here, that's why. All right, so again, my apologies for that quick break there. The bathroom called. Made me take the charge, too. Anyway, all right, let's get the chocks off.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
All right, once connected and we get pushed, we'll start the fire up here. You'll kind of see the nose raise up a little bit in front of us. It's sometimes easy to see, sometimes it's kind of subtle. There it goes up.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Brakes released.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
All right, let's do it. Okay. We're going to build up for a little bit on N2. It'll look like it holds, and then it'll continue on once the fuel enters. There we go. We have a light off. I guess, no, I don't know. I really wouldn't know how they push back. Some airports, they don't even push back. They just pull out, so. All right, with the word avail right here, just saw it right above the 18 there, we can actually start up number 1. She'll finish up before we're able to continue. But that there tells you we're just about ready to taxi.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Okay. Same thing's going to happen. It's going to sit there at 26% N2. Kind of meander about. You're going to see ignition come in right over here. And boom, it'll start coming on. There it is. And there it comes alive.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Watch for avail. There it is. We can start the timer. There she goes out from under us. We'll continue here in a moment. We'll wait for her to show us the pins, and then we'll get going. Going from Rwanda to Congo for those just joining in. All right, there's the keys. I'm sorry, the pins. Actually, yeah, they're going to bring out the keys to us next. All right, so let's do it. First, let's get our switch back to normal. And ground spoilers will arm. Flaps 1, come up here. APU bleed off. And pitch trim. Alright, so what I do is I click here. Now you're gonna see it right here, your pitch trim. Now on our McDo, we want up 0.4, so we needed to stay up at just 0.4. There we go. Now, while I'm here, I go ahead with the stick. Do my flight control check. And why I do 4. Some people have asked me this over YouTube. Why do I do 4 or 5? In the days when the Logitech system that I now have, well, it still says SATEC. Well, SATEC was where it started. To reset the joysticks and flight sticks, you had to go through all of the axes on it 4 times. That's throttles, that's the hand stick, everything. Well, I don't go full throttle back 4 times in the block, but I do try to get the stick at least. And it would do a reset on it. Okay, and then I'll just put it away and unselect it. All right, now let's get up top here and get this plane going. APU off. Tell the flight attendants arm the slides. Done. And okay, and finally nose wheel lights on. Here we go. All right, we'll get the elapsed time running. And At the same time, I want to see where we're at. 320, good. We're ready to taxi. Brakes off. Brakes work. Auto brake set. Let's turn to the runway. And we're going to be taking Alpha straight on out till as far as we can go. And then back taxi. So we want to be pretty much ready to go. Flight controls, nav climb set, terrain on. Let's get our other radars going. Okay, we do show some rain. It's hard to see. You can see some darker greens here, but some very light greens over here. We'll see a little bit maybe of this over here. We'll see. Let me just... all right, don't have any. Kigali traffic, TAR 572, back taxi 10 for takeoff. And folks, feel free. Anytime you want to come on, we can fly together, folks. It's a good time to learn VATSIM. Hey, it's precursors to cross the pond, which we will not be participating in at Flying with Mike. But I know some of you will, and you, if you're not used to VATSIM, come on, ask your questions. I've only got a couple hours on VATSIM, folks. About 10, 11, 12,000 hours. So, you know, I think I can answer most of your questions. Now, what they're using for across the pond has changed since when I did it. Oh, we don't even want to talk about when I used to fly it. So, all right, getting to the end of the runway here, so we're going to get the lights all on. And double check everything is checked and readied. Okay, takeoff test complete and good. Alright, takeoff chrono set. On. Here we go. Again, flex. Airspeed alive and we're working. $80 knots. Let's check verified. I'm telling you, it's pretty good, folks. B1. Rotate. gear up. Alright, and let's go ahead and let Otto do some flying while we clean up the airplane. How's that sound? Alright, so let's get the ground spoilers. Ah, they did knock it down. There they go. Again, our max speed, 210. And then looking at the gauges, we will be able to clean up, barely. And folks, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you'll be able to clean up, sometimes you got to keep a layer of flaps out. This restriction we're on right now lasts to Gadbo, and you can see it's wanting us to hang tight. If you look at the chart, let me bring that up real quick. See how we're getting outside of it? That's the goal, keeping you in. Probably something to do with noise abatement. Alright, now I'm going to punch the flaps up. Okay, flaps are up, seatbelts are still on. We just do our last checks here. Landing lights, we don't need cruise or anything, but those thunderstorms, folks, are just lurking right over there. Maybe if we were up a little bit and in the clearing, we might see them. But we're below them. And we just crossed. Go. 10,000 feet. Off with the lights. Alright, we'll go ahead and build charts now. Alright, in about 2 miles we'll be making the turn to the west and on our way to KAROS. Okay, and we're beginning our acceleration as we head up to 24,000. And that is till BKV when we'll step on up to 38. All right, folks, we are climbing out. 24,000 is our first. And it looks like by KAROS we will add that. And then we'll start our climb to 38,000 at BKV. So we'll hold on here for a little bit. Do I have localizer turned on? No. What's up with this? One thing I did want to check while we're here, folks. Doing real good on the nav tab, okay. And of course, we'll be back for the landing. All right, I was just kind of curious how we're doing. All right, well, what I was going to check into, I'll have to do another time. These are seeming pretty slow. Okay, I'm gonna set 38 now over here. I'm not sure if it's gonna immediately or how this works. Alright, this just isn't gonna work. Alright, that's fine. Okay, we were trying to find out what that low meant, but I'm not gonna be able to get into a manual real easy. So we will check into it after the flight. Alright, so we're climbing. We're getting ready for a step climb, and I've never let the airplane do it on its own, if it does it on its own. So we're going to find out. I know I'm not managed right now, so that's why I'm a little hesitant that it's going to even work. Let's kind of get a lay of the land. Looks pretty good, the cloudiness. As soon as we get past BKV here in 5 miles, I'm going to bump up to 80 miles on my radar. I'm going to be really curious if it does. Okay, so it looks like I have to do. Okay. All right, we are on our way, folks. But again, folks, I hope you all had a chance over at our YouTube channel to see the Las Vegas to Burbank. That's our latest one up there. And if you're not familiar that we had a YouTube channel, let me put that up there for you. It's probably cycled through a couple times. But yeah, check it out. Would love you to head over there, Twitch folks. If you missed something you really wanted to see, you'll find it here at YouTube on our channel with our flights. So I know those commercials come up right when you want to see something. Always does. And so even when I'm in the middle of saying something, they cut me off. So yeah, it is what it is. But I just wanted to let you all know that is available to you. We're going to bump to 80. Also available to you, our Discord channel. See if it'll let that link go through. Of course not. Don't know why. Alright, well, we happen to have it another way. There you go, folks. And for those who, you know, if you haven't realized, folks, probably about 70% of the, maybe 60%, 60 to 70% of the flights we fly here, we do fly on Millennium Aviation. Folks, it's just such a great bunch of people and easy on the rules. I mean, they got 4 divisions, folks. Open, which is what you sign into when you become a member with Mac Air. You come into the open division, and basically think of it as an airline, except don't think of it like an airline, because every airline is available to you with every airplane. You just have to select one and fly it. So say you're in St. Louis, France. You can just put that in your departure, boom. It'll tell you all the flights that come out of there and all the different aircraft that are in the database for it. And have at it, folks. You can also join the charter, historic, and cargo divisions. Really, after that first flight, folks, carte blanche. Opened up to you. Charter is just that. You can tell the system where you want to fly if you can't find it elsewhere. So say you're in the open division, you can't find that flight from St. Louis to Paris. Go to the charter division, put it in there, and it'll always be in the charter division, not only for you, but everybody else. And say you go to one of those airports the system doesn't recognize. It's recognized there. But those three divisions right there, folks, historic, that's kind of an obvious. And chart or cargo, that is requested you fly historical or cargo, depending on the division. Now, in the open division, I mean, there are a couple little rules. You have to fly not necessarily the aircraft listed. You can substitute if you don't have it, but say it's a 737. Well, I don't have any 737s. What am I to do, Muffy? Oh my goodness. Well, you can fly an Airbus. A318, 19, 20, 21. Single aisle airliner. 737's a single aisle airliner. You can do that and they will accept it. However, if you want to fly for a 737 flight, a A380, now that one probably will get rejected. And good luck with that one. Anyway, it's likewise if it's an RJ, you got to fly something of the RJ types. But it's that simple, folks. It's nothing complex here. That's what I love about flying for. So check them out, folks. I tell everyone out there, if you're into and wanting to fly for the airlines I fly for, some of them are kind of intense. I'm not going to lie to you. And can, at times, upset the heck out of you. But you got to know that going in. Oh boy, everything just kind of came to a grinding halt. There we go. So there's the link to Mac Air Virtual. You know, before you sign on the dotted line, folks, check them out. Make sure you can comply with the minimum currency rules and you're okay with the operating practices of that airline. If not, hey, you're not going to break any skin off my back, folks. It's not for you. I get it. But know before you go in so you don't get frustrated. Some airlines kind of hide that from you. And they're the ones I quit pretty quick. So, but for the most part, I fly pretty easy to go airlines that anyone can fly, and that, hey folks, some have some strictness to them, like Piedmont Virtual and American Virtual. Not some, quite a bit. So, forewarned. It's the very famous slogan, buyer be warned, except you're not buying any. Just be warned going in. Read, learn, understand, and then decide. So, all right, so we're on our way, folks. We're going to be leveling off here very soon at our cruise altitude. Boy, are we going slow. I may have to bump up the Mach here. Get us up closer to 0.8. I'm not sure why we're so on the slower side. Geez, we're at 240 indicated. See what happens here if I need to bump our cost index up me. I ain't doing a doggone thing for us. That will. Kinda wish I knew what that cost index would be for that. Alright, so we are on our way, folks. Leveled off at flight level 380. We're trying to gain a little bit of airspeed here. 240, Mach 0.75, that kind of stuff. A little too slow. I like getting her up here more into the upper 70s. So we're pushing along here. Yeah, we're just gonna take care of it on our own, folks. We'll just keep an eyeball out on our fuel. But I think we'll be okay. Let's do our first of two. Hopefully I'll remember to do the second one. System checks. And what these are, folks, the pilots will go through mostly, I've heard, on average, about every 30 minutes or so, just to make sure everything on board the plane is as it should be. And we'll get to it there in just a minute once we get our followers back from a break. And just so people know, I am set up for every 20 minutes, a 1-minute break. So don't think I'm trying to gouge for a lot of money. We don't make a lot off commercials. But we do make some. So, but again, it's a minute for every 20 minutes. Alright, it looks like they're coming back. Alright, so let's do this system check. And again, as we went to... Oh my goodness, why does it do this? Alright, somebody playing in my laptop better stop. I'm going to run that program again. Alright, alright, so basically what the pilots will do every 30 minutes or so is check the aircraft over system-wise. Now you got a nice overview right here, so that helps them out in the interim. But if we come down here, we can click all and go through each one individually. Everything's looking good. Okay, now this one we got to work on. You can see we're about 330 off. So what we'll do is come up top. First thing we'll do, okay, right now, this engine is being fed only by the left wing. Number 2 by the right wing. Now when we open up the cross feed, it's not going to take the fuel and dump it in here to balance it. It's just now both wings are feeding both engines. So when I come up here and do this, now the right wing is feeding both engines. And that will bring it down. Now it is going to allow some to trickle in, but for the most part, this is how they balance out. They let it just flow into the engines. And it shouldn't take long. That's the neat thing. If it takes more than 5 minutes, I've been told, you may have another problem. And you can already see we're down to 200 and going down quick. And again, it does spill a little bit into the tank, not much. But it is mostly going out the engine exhaust with the engine. And I'm not going to do sometimes like I do, because I'll come back and then I got to go the other way around to get this thing set up right. Now, the A320 and the A319. Now, the A320 is a different aircraft, not the Neo, but the older engines, conventional. That one, by flight factor, won't be any spillage into there. I think the 319's the same way, but it may spill a little in there. See, we're just about balanced. And that's the only sucky thing. I still have the valve open. Come back down. Get back on fuel. Come back up. Go ahead. Close enough. Now, if I were to shut those pumps up now, I would have engine 1 shut down. Okay, so we'll continue on. APU, which is off. Okay, how are the temperatures? Looking good. Oh, back to that one. Alright, now we're not focusing here, folks. We're focusing up here. Cockpit oxygen, and it's exactly what it says, folks. This is not the system that if the masks fall out in the behind us in the cabin area, that is actually on oxygen generators. This is actual tanks inside the cockpit. The pilots will breathe if we got to do an emergency descent. So we want to make sure we have air in them and an appropriate amount. Up, brakes are cool. Everything's looking good. Control surfaces, we'll click all again. Statuses are good. Then we're back to the overall. Like I said, we do that about every 30-ish or so minutes. Heck, you literally could. Okay, set a chrono. And when it's 30 minutes or so from now, do another one. Alright, so we are gliding across the skies. Again. Like I said, breakfast has not been well today, so. Alright, so again, folks, I hope you enjoy. If you are, smash that follow button if you're new. Love to have you follow along. Friday's flight is back in the Queen of the Skies. Over at our Discord channel, you're more than welcome to check it out, see what the schedule is. Also at the bottom of our Twitch feed, when you look below Twitch here, you'll see the About, you'll see our flight schedule. You can find out where it's flying to on Friday, barring anything that comes up. And then we'll start working on next week. Next week could be a little tricky as I do have an overtime shift scheduled in there, so we'll kind of see how that plays out with what we're able to fly. Alright, so we're cruising along at 0.78. I wish I knew what that equated out to in a cost index, so I could just do it that way. Be on a managed, but it is what it is. This way we'll get them there just a few minutes or a few seconds early. So for now, let's kind of kick it back, relax, and let's let the music play on here. And looking up at the top, looks like about an hour and a half, so we'll get a few songs in here. And before we get into the arrival brief, which there really isn't much to it, folks. But we'll still, nonetheless, do one. So, again, thanks for flying with us. We sure appreciate you being aboard as we go across the dark continent here from Rwanda into the Republic of Congo. And flying with Millennium Aviation. Great bunch of people. And no worries, folks. Chat away in the chat room. Anything from me, I'm watching in case you all have questions. Welcome aboard. All right, folks, we're still with you, still high above the dark continent of Africa, going from Rwanda over to Maya Maya in Congo, Republic of Congo. So I hope y'all are enjoying the ride. I was just partaking a little bit of YouTube myself. Came across a neat video, 10. Well, welcome in, Hawker. How are you? Hope you're having a great day. Came across an interesting video, the 10 worst takeoffs. Now, a couple of them I couldn't see why, but a couple of them, wow. They're flying with Mike Worthy. So, but anyway, folks, I hope you enjoy the ride. We still got about an hour and, what is that, 18 minutes up there to our destination. So, hope you all have a great day. All right, so weather-wise has actually been showing up on the radar pretty decently. I don't know if there is a way to change the way it colors in here or not. But at least we're getting returns. That's the big thing. Off in the distance here, you can see a thunderstorm. Outside, I'm thinking the range here, not certain. Some popping over here. By the way, folks, we're just south. We're just south of that intertropical convergence zone where all of those storms drift off Africa and then they begin really watching them in the Atlantic. Now, granted, we're way into the hurricane season here in the U.S., but this is the general area they start, and then they hit that hot Atlantic Ocean and just blossom into the hurricanes. Now, this year has actually been relatively tranquil for the U.S. Most systems stayed away, and didn't affect. They kind of turned before the Windward and Leeward Islands in the Caribbean. So there really wasn't much to it. Now, granted, that being said, there's still days ahead. So we'll kind of see how it finishes off. But you're in the area when we get into August, September, October time frame, where it's all really coming from Africa. So that's the area we're in. We're just south thereof. So right now, though, the only thing that I know of is Tammy, I think is the name of it. Let me do a quick search here. I don't... Oh, there they are. There they... Oh, man, things are going so slow. That's not even going to be worth looking up. We'll have to do it on my phone. Stand by, folks. All right, National Hurricane Center. There you are. Yeah, it's Tammy. Maybe a threat to Bermuda. It's a hurricane, actually. So now I do know out in the oh, I take it back. It's already come inland. There was a hurricane that really blossomed up in like from Katrina style out in the off the coast of Mexico, and it has now come inland. So that's how hurricane seasons can be. Some years can be an, oh my gosh, are we ever going to get out of Hurricane Alley? And some years, where are those storms? And thank goodness they're not here. I know the western side of Florida has been Hurricane Alley for several years, and I think you only had one, and that really hit more to the northern end. Don't quote me on this, I'm just going from memory. So not been a real bad year at all. So all right, folks, but we are rolling along. Our 12 minutes to go, and the A320 Neo continues on its way. Now I'm trying to figure out here why it limits the sound bar. That. Just doing a test here, folks. Oh, that didn't do it. Don't know why it goes sheet to, you know, 2 steps there. I just don't know what causes that on Toliss. Just don't know. Also, I have never had the chance to really check out how the CPDLC works in here. I got one controller connected, but he didn't use it. So, oh well. A lot of this fun stuff in it, but a lot of the controllers just don't. US, forget it. None of them use it, so I'll go through the hoppy and see none of them. And kind of disparaging. These aircraft are putting it on, but yet controllers are reluctant to use the technology. POSCON, on the other hand, that is their preferred method, which sometimes is why I like flying over there more than VATSIM here of late. But I have not really kept my X-Plane 11 fleet up to date. So I'd have to go through and figure out what all needs updating and all of that good stuff. But yeah, that's one of my big problems with VATSIM. They just don't embrace what's out there. Or I'm just too naive in thinking things are better than what they really are. It's just... But anyway, we will just continue on. Feel free to join in. I'm going to actually come off LS and come straight to go to airports. We have no airports suitable within the 80-mile radius of the plane. Isn't that amazing? And this is on our terrain radar, folks, so you have an idea what kind of terrain we're flying over. And the other one is the air radar, so. Looks like we should. Just gonna kind of look around, see where the weather is, if it's updated away. Looks like it has. Alright, let's have some fun. Just for you. Alright, we've got about 7 minutes to the next system check. And we'll be at about the equal time. Well, yeah, about the equal time point. That's what the ETP stands for, folks, on the nav display here. So at that point, it's the same amount of time to go back as it is to continue on. Alright, so we are set up here. We'll do our system check here in a few minutes. But folks, again, hope you enjoy the ride. We are flying one of the tours Mac Air has. This one is the African, hang on a second, I actually have it written out for myself here. The African Tour A320. And we are currently on leg 12 of 20 in this part 1. There's actually 3 parts to it. And the end of this, the next 7 legs we do, put us in Johannesburg. And then we'll begin working again, crisscrossing from the south to the north in part 2, and end up, I'm not really sure where we end up. I haven't written ahead. So, it's much the same as what we did with the original. When we started up our streaming, we were flying a lot of Alaska. The Bush series they had up in Alaska. We flew all 3 legs, and it was quite interesting. Just put it at that. But I do want to say again, thank you for being a part of Flying with Mike. I look forward to many more streams Friday. Be back in the Queen of the Sky 747-200 style. That ought to be a fun flight. Now that will, the experiment I did yesterday starting up early, not sure I'll try it again. I might, but I really kind of felt out of sorts on it. Not because of the times, but just the way work can be sometimes. I think I will stick to our 18Z startups, or as close as I can get to it. Just felt way out of sorts. So. All right, let's see where we are on the music here. Alright, so we are getting close to our 30-minute mark. Like I said, I think that equal time point is going to be about where we do it. We'll run a system check and then look into running the arrival. I think it'll be right about 1 hour and just far enough out that we can set that up. Alright, speaking of which, let's go ahead and systems check, shall we? Now, once you've done the first one, folks, you already know what you're looking for. So, go ahead and pull it out here. Engines look good, the vibes are right on. Now, if you're always curious how things work, where it comes from, here's your engine, your bleed system. Then it leads to pressurization. Everything green. Now here's the electrical system, giving you an idea how all of that breaks down from engines to the AC and the DC buses inside. Your batteries, your APU when it's on. Hydraulics. Of course, we all know how important this is because the surfaces were run on hydraulics. The landing gear up and down run on hydraulics. Even the brakes, the reverse thrust, a lot of things run on that hydraulic system. So, very crucial system here. Very crucial here to tell you what you might have if this system goes down. What surfaces you have, you can actually see that on when we get to the control surfaces. But you also know that the landing gear is on one of these systems, you know, actually probably two of them, as a backup. Trying to prevent that tragedy that happened in Sioux City when that engine literally exploded inside and took off all of the hydraulics. Miraculous, that crew got to Sioux City. Most of them crashed right when it happened, it seems. Alright, so here's the fuel. Okay, still balanced, looking good. We're not going to mess with it. APU off, nothing else to look here. Okay, cabin-wise, 72. We're looking good, folks, unless people start complaining. And our cockpit oxygen is good. Wheels are good, up and tucked. Here's that flight control. See, here's what I'm talking about. Like your speed brakes, all three systems, green, blue, yellow control. Then you have the right aileron and the left aileron, controlled by the same two, blue and green. Now here's what gets interesting. Your elevators. Here it's saying the left side show blue-green hydraulics. Right side you get the yellow one. So interesting, but the two were interconnected, so does that mean all three control them? Likewise, all three control the rudder, with just the green and yellow on the trim. So it gives you an idea, okay, I've lost this. What, I lost the green system, so look for everything with G's. Am I in trouble? Find out at the end of the break. Alright folks, we're back out of the break, and I was just happening to watch it. Oh, my laptop. Whatever, I don't know what comes in on yours, but on my laptop. Oh boy. That's all I gotta say. Oh boy. Anyway, can't complain, it's money, yeah, I know. Alright, so we're done with the system check. We'll probably try to do one at top of descent. But for now, let's start gearing up towards the arrival. I'm going to go ahead and bring Sim Toolkit up for that. Second. I'm just kind of hoping this song will end up here quick. And we can then move on. So, oh, I just noticed something. Looking at my Sim Toolkit before it goes live with you all. It's a CEO. What Tunisia really has? The ocean. Tunis Air, I should say. Sometimes I wonder if the songs will ever. They're good stuff, though. Good stuff. Here we go. All right. Because if I let it go, then I'll forget. All right. Let's get into this arrival brief, shall we? Okay. Right stuff. Here we go. There we go. Like I said, we're using Sim Toolkit. Little different animal. See where we are on the flight. Got to get down here to ULVAS. So we're getting kind of close here. Top of descent. And we'll play with that here in a second too. All right. So here's what we got laying ahead of us. Let's go here. All right. So we got ULVAS. Okay. First off, I know y'all going, how are we supposed to read that, Captain? I'm going to do it in sections because it is kind of tricky. Airport's 1,000 feet up. HEPA for the altitudes, barometric pressure. See, which one transition by ATC, but the altitude 500. are going to be doing the HRYR 1 Alpha for runway 2. But first, I want to, it says very cautiously. All right, now let's try this. I'm going to bring the weather hopefully for you. All right, so the weather there right now is 280 at 4 knots. Cool. 8,000 kilometers. Oh, we're starting to get something. Or is that 8,000 meters? 8,000 kilometers. Boy, that would be almost to the US. So yeah, how about meters? Few clouds at 3,000 CBs. 28 degrees, 10, 11. Don't mind a guy behind the stick, he doesn't know. Oh, Lord have mercy. Alright, so we're going to come in over ULVAS to HRYR, then on to Apton. Now, more than likely here at Apton, we're going to go direct to our initial fix and then in. I'm going to make sure we don't have ATC, which it does not look like right now. So we can kind of do that on our own without having to add things in. All right, pretty simple. Holds we have are for runway 5. Not really telling you where. So if you have a hold, what it's saying here, you got to be max 230 between 19,000, your minimum altitude of 4,500. So not really sure where they are, but anyway, that's what we got. Now the one word, oh, have our chart yet? A second. Did I choose? Okay. So as you can see, wait a minute. So HRYR, I'm sorry, HRYR go direct to the initial our RNAV approach, which will be RASIC. Take RASIC at 4,000. Max speed 230. Now this, folks, do not get confused with. Now there is a great video out there. I want to get into this stuff. A little bit of a discussion, a little heated at times, between New York Approach and a JetBlue aircraft at the word "at" in the chart versus max. Their chart is, the controller was correct, does say at such and such speed. JetBlue was not at such and such speed. So what the controller is rightly saying, not going any further on that, folks. You all decide if you listen to it. He has to then space the aircraft behind him so they don't overtake him on landing. Alright, so maximum speed 230, maximum 230. That means don't go faster. Likewise, all the way down. Again, it's all the word max. Stand by, folks. Sorry about that, folks. Somebody thought my number was somebody else's number and found out it's not so. All right. So we're going to go RASIC to ULVAS, BB503 to 3 mile nautical to the runway. Okay, very simple approach. So let's get to the top of it. Here's our approach. If they come up, here's our tower. If they come up. It's an RNAV approach. So folks, you don't set anything in the aircraft. I don't care what airplane you're flying, you don't get to set anything. Just keep your final approach course 231. You might want to put that in just in case. Anyway, mandatory. All right, so at BB 503, let's get that up here. Right at this point right here, folks, you need to be at 3,000 feet MSL or 1,948 feet AGL. The disparity here is because the airport is 1,052 up from sea level. We'll get to our decision altitudes and heights down in the bottom of the chart. Okay, there's our missed approach, folks. Climb runway axis to BB 504, then hang a right to Bill Bilev and be at 4,000 feet. No faster than, I heard you say 250, wrong, 230. And you're going to go into a hold. Okay, now here is a great chart I wish would come with me. So at the 5 mile mark, which is roughly BB 503, technically 6 miles, but you need to be at 2,700 feet. This is if you lose any glide slope on your descent. So it gives you altitudes at different mileages. Really nice to have, especially on ILSs when that glide slope goes out. All right, so we're going to start at 4, drop down to 3, cross over, and then we're going to start our descent. Hopefully, one of these days I'm going to get the LPV, LNAV, VNAV to work. Okay. Now, from here, it's a 3-degree glide slope. So how do we know how to set a 3-degree glide slope? That's this chart down here. 130-ish will be our approach speed. So let's ballpark it 710 feet, 705 feet a minute. You maintain you're going to be pretty close to the 3-degree glide path. Okay, just letting you know. Now, if the airplane does go into a full descent, following it, perfect, thumbs up. So that's what this chart works. Plus, it tells you from the missed approach point out to BB 503 what your times would be. And we don't have those. All right, here's your PAPIs. They'll be on the left side. They're a visual cue to let you know how you're doing vertically on the approach. So once you're able to see them, and then guide your approach by how your lights. You want 2 white, 2 red. 4 red, you're dead. 4 white, you're high. Okay, and finally, we're to the bottom of the page. LNAV, VNAV minimums. We are performance C. So, 1330 or 278 feet above the ground. Same point in the sky, folks, just a different way of calling it. Either we're going to call it MSL at that same point in the air, or we're going to call it what's above the ground. RVR is 1,800 meters, which at 8,000 meters, I think we got that one. If we should have to circle the land, here you go. Nighttime, not authorized. All right, let's go ahead and pull that away. want to just drop down, see what we're looking at distance-wise. 204 miles out. So really it doesn't matter what our speed is here, folks. We're going to get there at about the same time. Let's save a little fuel. Airline will love us for it. Now we're 200 miles out. All right. So let's come back to here and let's put in our information. All right. You know, the funny thing is, folks, the flight before this that took us to Rwanda, we landed on the other side of the border in the Democratic Republic of Congo. On the other side is where we were. I just realized that. Interesting. Huh. So as 1123 Zulu, we'll go with Kinsha. Like I said, right on the other side of the border here, folks. We're talking probably less than 70 miles apart. Trying to see, it all looks pretty close. Actually, we did get a VTAR. What did it say? As of 1830 280 0. Let's see, winds were 4 knots. Altimeter 1011. Okay, now what we're gonna do here, see if I can again cheat. $85. Okay, runway I think will be dry. Estimated landing weight. We are going. That didn't help. A 137.2. Okay, will be landing configuration, full flaps. Oh, let's see here. Our runway here is 10,000 feet. So if we don't make Bravo, it's all the way to the end. Okay. Bravo is approximately the midfield. Let's go medium. Reversers on. Pew. Okay, so we're looking at 133 for our approach speed. For estimating, we need at least 4,482 feet. Prediction of 7,000, so we may go past Bravo. Okay. Not bad. All right, so we got all of that programmed up. We are ready for the approach when we get there in about 170 miles. And folks, I hope you enjoy the ride. At about 100 miles or so, we'll start plugging in the data for the approach in the McDo, and then we'll begin setting it up. So for now, I'm just going to kind of go back up to the top here, start running a little bit of music, till we get to that top of descent point where we start entering the data. Again, thanks for flying with Mike. New folks to the channel. Hey, if you like what you hear, like what you see, hey, we'd love you to smash that follow button. If you happen to be watching on YouTube in the replay that we'll put up later tonight, I'd love you to smash subscribe, join the family, and, you know, while you're at it, if you liked it, you know, hit that thumbs up. That really helps let me know that you liked it and that we can gear more things in that direction. Right now, we're kind of geared for the 747, but you know, that could change if the audience would prefer a different plane. So, for now, we'll just kind of cruise along here in the A320 Neo from Toliss, and I hope you all enjoy the ride. And again, thanks for flying with Mike. Alright folks, we're back with you. Just took a quick break to peruse Facebook and other media outlets, and I see nothing going. So, other than the atrocities in Israel that are going on. Prayers for the country of Israel. Alright, so sorry about that folks, just checking something out here that was supposed to say something else, and somehow either that loose nut behind the stick here into playing forgot to hit save, or something else happened. But anyway, we are continuing on our journey. Currently standing at 30 minutes, I believe, out. Pull up Sim Toolkit on mine. There we go. We are looking at 30 minutes. So we should about be at our top of descent. I've got about 100 to go. So we'll give it a little bit further. We'll get one more song at the most. Yeah. And we should be ready for putting in our data into the McDo. And then bringing this plane down. So hope you all have enjoyed, and look forward to Friday as well when we get the Queen back in the sky. Let's see if I get this right. TVM, welcome in. We are doing fantastic. Hope you are as well, as we are just about to plug in the information into the McDo for the descent into Mayo, or Maya Airport in Republic of Congo. Well, welcome in with your first chat. Glad to have you aboard. And this is going to time out just about right, folks. We're at 75 miles, top of descent. And we'll put the pause button on here in a moment and start in on that McDo. All right, so let's more time. Click here and head over here. I do want to run. Awesome, glad to hear you bought XP12 3 days ago. Hope you enjoy as much as I do. It's really fantastic. I think it outdoes Microsoft in leaps and bounds, but I know the naysayers out there. I think I used to be one of those, but I'm glad I switched over, and when I got the new computer, didn't put the new sim on it. So, all right, so let's see here. Let's make sure if we do have a METAR out there, we have the latest and greatest version. What time is it here? 1942, so it's a little outdated, folks. About an hour, we'll call it an hour and a half. All right, so we'll keep the data as is. So we don't want to click activate. If you clicked activate, show you what happens. It'll slow down to this speed. We're not ready for that yet, folks. So, all right, so our Q and H, I think, is, hang on a second, let me scroll up here to the last weather report we got, 1011, 2985, so 10, 11. This weather is even older than the weather we got, well, check, 25, yeah, 1830Z, so we're only talking about an hour and a half old. So we can run with this. Okay, temperature, 2-3. No, it's 2-8. How did that not change? 2-8. 2-8. Showing a wind of 280 at 4. Okay, and our transition level, I think we are looking at 5,000 or 4,500 transition altitude. Close enough. All right, let me click here, click compute, just to make sure nothing drastically changed with that temperature. And we're looking good. All right, now what we need to do here is decide, are we going to use Baro or are we going to use AGL? Baro being just that, mean sea level. So are we going to use that for our minimum, or are we going to use radio altitude, which is AGL? It's all the same point in the sky, folks. Again, it's just what are we reading it from? Sea level or from the ground? And believe it or not, most airlines told, a lot of pilots have told me, they go with mean sea level, Baro. So for our, 1330. Back it down. We're not Class D. 1330. So we need 1330 and 1800 meters, which we are getting with no trouble. See what comes up. Yeah, still 1830. All right. Oh, somehow I got too many things in there. Hang on. Yeah, predicting a rough landing here, folks. There we go. Let me get the right one in there. There we go. All right, so as you see here, folks, we're looking at 133 for approach speed, 128. So technically, when I pull up charts here, okay, so from BB 503, that's our mandatory 3,000 foot mark, all the way in. Technically, if we were in the soup, 133 flaps, gear, the whole 9 yards for us to come in. And then at 1330 barometric pressure is when we would, at 1330, yeah, on your baro, you would hear minimums. You better see the runway. Otherwise, it's a go-around. And then we execute the missed approach out to BB 504, hang a right, back to Ilev, and either come back in again or enter the hold. All right, so there we have it. Folks, we are very close to top of descent. Now is the time, folks. If you need to run, grab a drink of water, drink a coffee, drink a whatever. Now is your time, because we will be, before you know it, on that top of descent. Put the perf page up at 27 miles. And I, folks, am one of those. Is going to make a quick run to get some coffee, and I'll be right back and get us started down. All right, folks, back from my coffee break. Got my coffee. We're ready to bring this in. Let's pull back charts. No ETC, so we'll set up for top of descent. Quick run, look at the checklist here. All right. Okay, we got the landing elevation. Auto shows right on there. McDo arrival complete. McDo perf approach complete. We need to get the winds updated. How do we do that? Well, let's go to the data page. Acres print function. Second time. Request. Oof, they've been updated. That easy, folks. 11 miles. Let's set up. We'll set up right now for. Let's set up for 9,000. All right. And sorry for any echo you might have had there, folks. My laptop today seems to have a mind of its own. Time to run that program. All right, we are ready to start our descent. We're 5 out, going managed, starting us down. Now you're gonna see, let me bring it up, right under here, the 11, see that little half circle? That's gonna slowly work its way down to where it's between this line, and that is when you are on the predicted approach. Boeing folks, when you hit the descent, button, either on your FMC or on the panel, depending how your aircraft is set up, see that little gauge right here telling you where you are on your descent path? Same concept. Exactly the same concept. Here it comes, and we will do a managed descent down to 9,000, and then we'll continue on. Now, what I am going to do, pull up my HRYR. Alright, and we are going to steepen up a little bit more. As you just saw, I took us from HRYR to Brazzaville, which is approximately 12 miles-ish, and hit that at the right altitude. It looks like, again, it's not leveling. Second, I'm just looking here. Okay, I think I can live with it. It's mandatory. I think I'm going to fit 4,000. I am just going to... There. And then we'll take it on down to 4. All right, folks, so we are descending, and I'm just doing that by the chart. Yeah, it's just too squirrely if we don't. So that way we'll go direct, and we'll be right on the approach, and hopefully everything lines up right. All right, currently I don't see anything on the radar out to KAROS. Got a little bit of higher terrain below us. But other than that, looks like a beautiful approach into here. Again, HRYRs we've been getting are showing CBs to starting at 3,000 up. Kind of see. But one thing, their TVM. With X-Plane, had you started X-Plane 12, say about this time last year, maybe a little later in the year, towards the end of the year, if you'd have followed it from there, X-Plane 12 to this point, the clouds have been one of the big stories with this, as Austin calls it, the developer, volumetric clouds. Have really come into being here. He's currently, the whole team has put out cirrus clouds. We see those from time to time. I really look forward to seeing those more up in the U.S. at least. They've really started to really look good, and from what I've been reading on the X-Plane pages, I am. That's why I'm kind of hesitant to go with active sky, or active sky, and the other weather programs out there. Kind of see where they go default first. Active sky, I'm very familiar with. Back in the Century of Flight days on Microsoft, I used it with hurricanes. Oh my gosh, did it do a great job. Thunderstorms, everything was just, my gosh, all the time with active sky. Not, when you come off default, you're only limited to how far out they pick up. Active sky gets further out into the oceans and all, so you get an even bigger weather picture when you're transatlantic, like you're across the pond. That's going to happen this weekend. Get weather. Of course, you get that fluctuation going from this buoy to this buoy. There's going to be a huge difference sometimes. So, and the sims have a hard time working through that. But, where X-Plane has come in the last 10 months has just been unbelievable. We're now at X-Plane 12, 0.07 release candidate, and it is just amazing. X-Plane 11 is amazing. So, great stuff that they've done there, and look forward to many more great things coming from them. And if you don't get a chance, I highly recommend it. Try it, the Citation 10. That's a fun little plane to fly. Once you get used to X-Planes, start looking into X-Works. There's some updates for the A330. Zebo is another fantastic mod for the 737 that comes with X-Plane. And, oh, by the way, they're free. So, really, we're in a great sim here. If you didn't fork out an arm and a leg, plus your neighbors, well, and the rest of your arms and legs, plus your neighbors, to get the sim alone, let alone buy all the add-ons. So, not to say this one you got to pay for, but you'll really enjoy it. So I hope you do. Hope you come along for more flights. The Fearless 747, when you see that Friday, I hope you're along for the flight. Oh, you're going to just be mesmerized at that plane. So, but and that one is payware as well. So, some of the most sought-after aircraft, that A330, that Citation, that 737, to make them as real as you, oh my God, go, oh my gosh, it's free. And speaking of which, let's get back into the cockpit here. We've done a good descent from 38 to 15, and we're time to start looking more into the checklist. All right, so we're doing fine. We're not going to have to go into an open descent as of yet. We're still about 10,000 feet above the transition, so we won't have to worry about that. Let's check the rad nav, even though we don't have an ILS plugged in. Right, everything looks good. This helps to push. Let's push. Perfect. Okay, now when do you push the activate approach phase? When I do it, folks, is when I take over my speed. So at 10,000 feet, if we're not slowing to 250, I'm going to push, get the 2 dots down here. So you're pulling it to be able to set 250 and the aircraft will slow. I'll throw the speed brakes out. And at that point, begin thinking about when I will activate the approach phase. All that's going to do is 2 things. One, if you were managed speed, like we said earlier, it'll slow you to 146. If you're controlling the speed, it will not. But 2, it'll bring up this page. And I'm sure you real Airbus drivers can tell me more that it does, because I'm sure there's just that. Okay. Well, to take that speed, if I don't see it drop here in a second. Giving it a couple more. There it goes. Just dropped to 250. All right, and the aircraft will level off to help slow, and I'm going to throw speed brakes as well. Seat belts. Lights. Got all our lights on. Here we come, folks. Just again, I don't remember if we streamed it or not, but we actually flew into the airport on the other side of the border, other side of the river. Kind of funny. I didn't realize that until now. Matter of fact, that was the flight that got us over to Rwanda. All right, so now see that we've slowed to 240. I am not controlling it, so I'm going to go in first. Kill the speed brakes. Pretty nice looking weather out this window, as with this one. Okay. Now the airport we landed at would be right about in there. We're going over here. Actually, it's more. Still, it's amazing. That river splits the country. One side's the DRC, one side's the RC, I guess. Democratic Republic of Congo, and the other side's the Republic of Congo. Don't know the difference. Don't know much at all about the stuff that goes on in Africa, but kind of an interesting dichotomy there, isn't it? Alright folks, and let me bring up charts real quick so you can kind of see real quick, and it will... Sorry. Alright, if you look over here is our alternate, FNULU. It's Luanda, Angola, but look at the name of the airport, 4th of July. Or 4th of February. Huh? By the way, this is the airport. I'm sorry, this is the airport we had departed back in August or September to get over to Rwanda. Interesting. All right. Get me back here. There we go. Get rid of charts. Thank you. All right. Now I am going to take over speed. Mainly because we can only go 230 in this area. Bringing us down to 220. Okay, green dot is sitting at 210. Green dot is your flap speed. Now, technically, I can start them down at 230 to get flaps wanted. Or we'll hold right now. So they say. Don't know how true that is, folks. We're not a real bus driver. We're just a real-world private pilot, but that private pilot license needs to be recurrent. My last flight was 1985 as a private pilot. Now, I just flew back in August, but, and that would be, what, you figure up 0.5, 0.6 hours, something like that. Still, positive numbers, so. But, you know, it is what it is. It's really expensive to fly, folks, and that's why. Get it current, the Hawk says. Oh, Hawker. Sorry, I don't have all that money you make where you... That is so true. Alright, and hang on a second. Get that here in a second. 1011. 1011, you are correct there. You're right. No place makes me happier than in the sky. Correct. I do enjoy flying. I did back then. Boy, do I sometimes really miss it. Alright, so we're now hitting the RNAV approach. There's Rusik, then up here to Gusik, and then down the approach. So let us start slowing up as we make the turn. We can use straight level flight to really help slow up the flaps one. Auto brakes medium. Alright folks, here we go. And name of this airport in, oh yeah, Maya, sorry. Maya traffic, Tunis 572. Inbound on the RNIP 23. Folks. Looking for the runways, got them. Let's see how we do. Runway. Let's see how it does. Okay, we got the landing gear out, flaps 2 set.
2,500.
Looks like we may have a level fog may be in the area, so we'll make sure we have the roads fully in sight. Laps are full. Spoilers are. Now they're on. All right, folks. There's the airport ahead.
2,500. 2,500.
Okay. All right, folks. Well, you're right to an extent there, Hawker, that it is kind of like riding a bike, but there's so much more to it that's changed that has me more. All right, we flaps everything set. That I want to make sure I'm up on before I get back in the sky. So those of you in the FAA don't hound me. It's a nice little cross here. All right, and Maya traffic tear 572. We are 3 mile final. 23. He's stable. Let's pull stick a little. Go. And gentler. And I've got the pappies. So we'll transition from what the needle says to what those pappies say.
Hundred above. 500. 400. Minimum.
Landing.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. Drive.
Alright, let's see. Do we have a taxiway? Kinda looks it. All right, folks, welcome to Maya Airport, Congo. Heading to the big blue building. All right, just cleaning up, folks. Alright, flaps are up. Let's get the radars off. Down here. Get that right in time. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed. What a wonderful trip that was. And for those kind of curious, SimBrief marked that off at a 920 minute, or no, 20 minutes. How about 920 nautical miles? Oh. So, oh, you come in on diagonals. Okay. Take this one. Kill the lights. Alright, we are in the blocks. Alright. Master switch is coming on. APU start terrain radars off. Brake temps are checked and still on the warm side. Get the wheels up here. Yeah, they're cooling off here. They're not right now. Brake fans are on. Parking brake set. Anti-ice off. APU lead. Hey, bleed on. All right. Oh, I thought we moved up. I thought we had a line in front of us. Okay. All right. Let me come here. This one. Down here. It's chock, so quick. Brakes can come off that one. This aircraft. Cool. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed, folks. Now let's pull away this pilot. And let's take a look here. Give me a second. Okay, just to make sure it filed over here. And received. Okay, good deal. What's that out? All right, let's take a look at it, shall we? Some toolkit. All right, 269. Not bad at all. I think I'm 250. Wow. So 250 or 269 feet a minute. Well, let's get in here and see how that all worked out. First off, you got to finish the flight. So we're now in our logbook. Okay, here's the trip we just did. Bunch of straight line, folks, from Rwanda to Congo. View the details. 2 hour, 19-minute flight, 900 miles. We burned 4,600 kilograms of fuel. We put two G's to the ground. Wow. at 125 knots, and I know that's because we rose up before we came down. 269 is the landing room. Ah, not too bad. Too shabby indeed. Look at that, folks. There's the end of the runway. Here's where you're aiming for. Here, that's, what about? It's not standard, so 5,000, about 1,500 feet down. And put it down at 2,000, so, I mean, hey, that's pretty good, folks. 10 feet to the left, I'm a lot happier with that. I just wish we didn't hit at 2 Gs, but oh well, we will come up. Overall, looks good. Right on our marks for heading, right on pitch. Roll slightly, probably because of the crosswind. So all in all, folks, a really, really good landing. Here's what it looks like. This is an old runway they've closed. Here's the gates, nothing in there. I take it back, somebody's pushed back. So, you know, not much to it, but still enough to it. And then the military's over here. Thing over. There's some, not much. Helicopters and whatnots. All right. There you have it, folks. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to try to replay this flight. Get rid of that. Okay, and we can actually get rid of sim torque. Second. And I'm going to come offline before it yells at me that you forgot to come offline. All right, and it looks like our brakes have cooled. And we're ready to try this going backwards. Are you all? Let's see how this flight looked. A little further if you don't. You're going to do it this way. Give it a second to regen the scenery. There we go. Let's start inbound, shall we? That was all about, folks. Now this is a feature not in the other sims. This comes with it, folks. So you can learn a lot about your flying this way. For instance, how did we do? I can slow it down. I like to see where I actually touched it. See how I got it, I overflared? Yeah, we kind of bumped a little bit there, folks. See how I overflared? Yeah, with the other sims, you have to get a download, folks. You have to start it where you want to replay it. I could go all the way back to the beginning if I want. And you can do all that I'm doing now, but you got to go through a lot of hoops. For here, all I got to do is start it up. Now, it is problematic still in XP12. I've only, I think, one time crashed the desktop in XP11. Alright guys, get your cameras out. Here it comes. Let's see how we looked coming in over the city. Yeah, we did kind of thump the run. But folks, overall, this was a really good flight. And I want to thank you all for being a part of Flying with Mike. We'll look at it from a couple more angles. Flared it right there. Boy, you can really see it. Well, hey, we made it in safely, folks. That's all that matters. Last rerun here. Let's see how it looks from the tower. We're not going to be able to. A very fun flight. As we roll up, I really hope you all had a great time on this 2-hour adventure. It really was fun. Sitting here getting to chat with you all, hearing a little bit out of the chat room. Hey, tell your friends, bring them along here to Flying with Mike. We'd love to have them. As I keep indicating, come Friday, a couple days from now, Queen of the Sky, 747-200 from Toliss will take to the skies. Down below in the about, you'll read the route. So I look forward to that flight. Those of you on YouTube, come on over to the Twitch channel. Look down and about, you'll find it right there for you. Also, if you're not wanting to go that much, hey, join us in our Discord channel, folks. Love to chat with you. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to open it up after the stream. So come on in. Let's chat for a few minutes while I get things set up. So there's the invite, folks. Click it. Join us. Come on down. We'll have a chat after flight chat. And we'll go for about an hour. But for now, let's see if there's anyone out there we'd like to hand this off to. So I think I sent the screen. You know what? Yeah, we'll just go with the after time. So give us about 3 minutes and we'll be in the Discord channel here once the flight is over. Folks, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of Flying with Mike. God bless you all. Have a great rest of your week. Remember, Halloween, week away. So let the spooks and the goblins come out and try to get under your skin. Until then, folks, see you Friday in the Toliss 747-200. Yes, I'm stalling for time because, wouldn't you know, we went to a commercial break. All right, let's see which one's going to come out here. There we go. All right, folks, and let's go this route. All right, folks, we're out of commercial. So, folks, I hope you have a great time. Join us in Discord. Folks, God bless you all. Have a great day. We'll see you Friday.